we just said the bottom of Yudchet Amud Beis, we brought two opinions, machloket between Abaye and Rava regarding the story of a sukkah, when you have the ledge that's coming out of the building, and the ledge is too wide, and therefore the walls of the building cannot be used as walls. And the question is, do we say the edge of the wall? Do we look at the edge of the wall as if it goes down and it closes the area? That was the discussion.
Rabbi, the ledge basically pushes away from the wall and distances the sukkah away from the wall. So the question is that wall valid as one of the three walls?
Yes. No. So we said that if let's say this is the ledge, and this is the wall of the house. If this ledge that's coming out, and then you're going to put schach, placing schach right over here, right next to the ledge, so the question is, since this wall on my right is too far away from the schach because the ledge is very wide, so there's automatically a disconnect between the wall and the schach. So now I can't use the wall for the schach. If it would be less than 4 amot wide, the ledge, so then let's say if the ledge would only be this wide instead of this wide, then maybe the wall will look as if the wall turns and it moves over, and that could work. But if the ledge is too wide, then the wall can't move. If the wall can't move, so where's the wall?
The ledge being more than 4 amot would disqualify the wall from being connected to the schach.
Exactly. It creates too much of a hefsek. It creates too much of a separation. It's too wide to say that the wall is going to move. If it's not so wide, so then we could say, let's say the ledge goes up there. Let's say the ledge would be 3 amot. We could say that it moves like this, and it forms a wall. If it's only within 3 amot of the wall. But if that's not the case, so now we have a problem. Where are our walls? So we have a dispute of two rabbis. One rabbi says that you see this edge of the ledge. It looks like a wall, right? It is like it has some thickness. And Rashi says it's like at least a tefach, has to be at least a tefach. It's already a tefach high, because it has the thickness of a tefach. Do we say that there's a law called that we look at this edge, we consider it as if it's going down. It's invisible, but would we look at that as a wall, and as if there's a wall on this side of the ledge, and on this side we also have a ledge coming out of the other wall, and then we look at this as it created 2 walls, and then we had a wall in the back, and therefore we have 3 walls. That is the question. Do we say this concept that the pitikra, the opening, the edge of the roof, goes down? So that is the discussion of the Gemara. So we had Abaye Rava, and Rava said it's no good. We will not say that. Rava says it's invalid. We don't say that the edge will go down. And Abaye says we will say that the edge will go down. That was the dispute Abaye Rava on the bottom of Yudchet Amud Aleph. That took us to Yudchet Amud Bet, on the bottom of the 18b, where the Gemara brought a different case, not a case of Sukkah. The first case was the case of a Sukkah. Would we look at the pitikra, the edge of the roof, as if it goes down? The Gemara now looks at a case on Shabbat, where you're in a valley, and you have this, so to speak, pavilion, or we call it a porch that you created in this valley. And you put let's say 4 poles, and then looks like a canopy. You place the canopy in the valley, and the question is, in general, you can't carry in a valley on Shabbat. You only could carry up to 4 amot, not 4 amot, less than 4 amot. But if you created an enclosed area, in the valley. So then that area will be enclosed, and just like you could carry in your house, but you're in a closed area, so that area will be able to carry it. But you didn't enclose it the normal fashion. You just put the poles and you made a canopy on top, but that canopy on top has that roofing on top also has these the question is, would we say, let's say this is the roof. Good morning, Simon. This is the roof. I have a side edge of the roof over here. I have a side edge of the roof over here. And let's say, and would we say that this side, do we view this side as if it goes down and encloses this area? That is the discussion in the Gemara in Shabbat, regarding the laws of Shabbat. And there also we had the difference of opinion between two different rabbis. It wasn't Abaye v'Rava, it was Rav and Shmuel. They argued also over there whether we'll say that the Pitikra, that the edge goes down or not. That was their machloket. So what our Gemara, we ended yesterday, is our Gemara wanted to suggest, Adam, you sent to the group? No problem, thank you. Our Gemara wanted to suggest that Abaye v'Rava, the later rabbis, seems to be arguing in the argument of the earlier rabbis of Rav and Shmuel. And it seems like one rabbi is taking the position of this rabbi, and the other rabbi is taking the position of the other rabbi. And now the Gemara wants to know, is that correct or not correct? Are we forced to say that each rabbi holds like one of the other rabbis and it's not unanimous? Or is it possible to say that there are two different cases, and it's possible that that the later rabbi could say that everybody would agree to him in his case, and the other case was talking about something different. That's what our Gemara is trying to do now. So the Gemara said, I'm back, let's look at Yudchet Amabet, 18b, right? That was the case 4 lines from the bottom in the Hebrew, and in the English, 18b, let me take out it's in the art scroll. On the right side, right? It says the Itma. The Gemara says, Lema Abaye v'Rava. Let us suggest that Abaye v'Rava bepluktu the Rav and Shmuel comiflik, arguing in the machloket of Rav and Shmuel. But the Itma, because we said Sadra Bika, you had this pavilion in an open field, and that's the case. That's the picture on the right side by number 6, right? You see that picture? You have the 4 legs, and you have that cover. And can I carry? And let's say this area is more than 7 feet by 7 feet. Can I carry within that area on Shabbat in the valley? So Rav Omar, mutal l'talta b'kulo. Rav says you could carry in that area because the Armina Pitika Yorivisotain, we look at the edge as if it goes down and it closes the area. Shmuel says we only can carry in 4 amot. The low Armina Pitika Yorivisotain. We don't say that the edge goes down and closes it. So the Gemara wants to say, look, we found such a machloket over there. And our machloket by Sukkah seems to be the same argument by Shabbat. And the Gemara says no. And so first the Gemara says, Aliba de Shmuel, Huli Amalo Pligi. According to Shmuel's opinion, that Shmuel is strict by the case of Shabbat, right? The case of Shabbat is the case where Shmuel was talking about. What does Shmuel say by the case of Shabbat? You cannot carry within that box, within that canopy, within that area in the valley. Now, where is it more logical to say the ruling of P. Tikra? Where is it more logical to say that we look at this as if the wall comes, as if the edge comes down? It's more logical in the case of Shabbat than the case of Sukkah. Why? Because in the case of Shabbat, that canopy, that cover, with its ledge, with its like here's the cover, right? We believe this is the cover, and it has the side. The point of when he placed this thing on top was to enclose the area that's underneath, right? That's the purpose where you put a cover to cover the space. So the sides, the P Tikra was there for this space that's inside. So there, it's more logical to say that it serves that spot. It serves what's inside, what's contained in that. That's more logical than the case of the Sukkah case. Because the case of the Sukkah is that the ledge, here is the house is here, the ledge is coming out of the house. Now, what was the ledge was not made to close, the ledge was to close what's underneath the ledge, right? Serves as protection from rain, it serves as protection. So, but it was not made to go ahead and serve as a enclosing, as a wall for some outside of the ledge, right? It was created a ledge to serve for what's underneath this ledge, right, Simon? And therefore, if you're going to go ahead and say what do we want to do by the case of the ledge of the wall for Sukkah? We want to say that this edge serves a wall coming down here as a wall for the schach that's going to be outside the ledge. And then you're going to say on the ledge on the other side is also going to form to be a wall for the schach that's over here. So you want it to be a wall for something that it was not intended to contain. So therefore, if you say by Shabbat, it does not work for a wall for Shabbat, you don't say that it goes down when it was actually made for that area. So certainly you would hold by Sukkah, it will not go down to serve something which is outside the box, outside the ledge. So therefore, Abaye, who said that we will say that the edge goes down when it comes to Sukkah, certainly he would say the edge comes down when it comes to the case of Shabbat in the valley, because the valley, the edge is there to contain it's there made for what's underneath it. And since Shmuel went on record, and Shmuel says, we don't say when it comes to Shabbat by that cover, we don't say it goes down, the edge goes down to form a wall. So therefore, Abaye says, my ruling by Sukkah that it does go down cannot be in sync with Shmuel. Abaye agrees, that his opinion is not universal. His opinion is like the other rabbi. It's like Rav says by Shabbat, you could go ahead and we will look at this canopy enclosed air. We look at it as if it's enclosed by Shabbat, and you could carry in this box, so to speak, that you created. So because we look at it as if there are walls coming down, so too he will hold that by Sukkah. So therefore, Abaye only lines up with Rav. He does not line up with Shmuel, because Shmuel says that you can't. Shmuel says you can't carry in the valley in that configuration in the valley. And if you can't carry in the valley, you certainly won't be able to do it it won't serve a wall by Sukkah. So that's what the Gemara means. Aliba de Shmuel, the bottom line on Yud Chet Amud Beis, 18b. According to Shmuel, Kuli Amalo Pligi. Everybody, it's clear that there's no discussion of whether everybody could go with Shmuel's opinion or not. It's clear that Abaye cannot go like Shmuel. However, the Gemara says the question is ki pligi, where there is a discussion, is a liba de Rav. Abaye and Rava, who argue by Sukkah, they're also going to argue according to Rav. What would Rav hold by their case of Sukkah. Okay? Abaye says, listen, Rava Abaye said, Shmuel says, Abaye says that Rav says by Shabbat, you could carry inside in that situation by the case of the canopy by the valley, you could carry inside. So therefore, Abaye says by Sukkah, he will say the same thing. You also could, if it forms a wall in the valley, it forms a wall, the P-ticker forms a wall by Sukkah. However, Rava says, I'll tell you that everybody will agree with me when it comes to Sukkah. When it comes to Sukkah, not only would Shmuel agree with me, who says that you cannot carry by the case of the valley, even Rav, who says you can carry, you could carry by the case of the valley, he will agree with my opinion by Sukkah. He'll agree with my opinion by Sukkah that we will not say that the edge comes down. Why not? That's what the Gemara is going to do now. Kipligi with the Rav. Now we're on 19a1. They're arguing according to Rav. Abaye Karav. Abaye says, my opinion that I hold by a sukkah when the ledge is too wide, we look at the edge of the ledge as if it goes down and forms a wall. That is in sync with the opinion of Rav. The same way that Rav says by the valley, the Achsadra and the valley, that picture that we had in on page 18b on the right, on number 6, that we say it goes down this, I had this canopy on top and I had the 4 legs. We say that the edge goes down by the valley. It'll also go down by the case of Sukkah. However, Rava says, no, you can't compare the two. Even Rav, who says that you will say it goes down in the valley, well, the edge goes down, will not say that by Sukkah. Why? Adkan lo kama lo omar Rav Hatam. Where did Rav says his novelty, his chidush, that we say that the edge goes down? Ela de mechitzot Hatam ela de mechitzot lachsadrahu Davide. The mechitzot, when you made this top, this cover, the point of this cover was made to serve this space, to enclose the space, and it was there to become a mechitza for the space. And since it was there to become a mechitza for the space, so therefore we will say that it goes down. Aval hacha, but over here, the lav lahachi avidi, it wasn't made to serve as a cover for this space, right? The ledge. Good morning, Mr. Silverman. We are on Yutet Amar Aleph. We are on 19a. This ledge of that came out of the wall, which now adjacent to the ledge, you had what we have. We had the wall of the house over here. We had a ledge that came out from the wall of the house, and next to the ledge we placed schach. And now we want to know: do we say that the P-tikra, the edge of the ledge? So if I'll show it, I'll use a tissue box. Here's the ledge, okay? So the ledge came out from the wall of the house. But the problem was that this ledge is very wide, right? If the ledge would only be this wide instead of this wide, it would only be less than 3 amot instead of 4 amot, then we could say that the wall will move. But since the ledge is more than 4 amot, so now we need to come up with some other possibility of creating the wall by using the P-tikra, by using this the edge of this ledge. But since this ledge was not made to go ahead and serve as a wall or a cover to serve outside. This whole contraption was here to protect what's underneath it. So you could say that it could come down on the side to form a wall for the space that's underneath, that's between, right? The space which is directly under the box, because that's what this contraption, this ledge was there to form, to protect what's underneath. But to say that it's going to be a wall, also serve as a wall for what's outside of it, that we're not going to say. That's what Rava is going to say. And therefore, Rava is going to say that even Rav, who says you could say that the edge of the ledge goes down by the case of the valley, because there it's coming to serve as a wall for what's inside. And that's what it was made for. However, it can't serve as a wall for something outside because it wasn't made for that. It wasn't made to contain what's outside of that. In our case, by the Sukkah, it will not be able to serve as a wall, as to say that the ledge goes down to serve as a wall for outside, wall for the Schach, which is outside of it. Is that clear? It's a little complicated, everybody. Okay. Now the Gemara asked the obvious question. Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah. We just had we said there's a machloket between Abaye and Rava. Do we say that the ledge, do we say that the edge of the ledge, do we say Pi Tikra Yored V'Sosem? Does it go down and create a wall? So the Gemara says, what do you mean? We had our Mishnah. Our Mishnah clearly stated that it doesn't work. We had a case, you had a courtyard. And the courtyard was surrounded by these ledges that came out of the houses, right? You have houses all along, you have houses on the right, houses on the left, and houses in the back. So we have like a U. We have a triangle, a U of houses. But the problem is, now. So let's use the walls of the houses as the walls for the Sukkah. The problem is there's these ledges that are coming out from the walls, and these ledges are interrupting the schach from the walls of the house, right? So if this is the wall of the house, and here's a ledge that's coming out, and now you want to put the schach over here, so you're in trouble because if you want to use this as a wall, the tissue box as a wall, but you have this morning, doctor. But you have the problem, you have something separating between the tissue box, the wall, and the schach, which is over here, this ledge. And the Mishnah said if the ledge is 4 amot wide, it will interrupt, and therefore you cannot use the wall of the house as a wall for the schach that's over here. But the Gemara's question is, so what do you mean? According to Abaye, that you say Pi Tikra Yored V'Sotem, that you say that the edge goes down, so what's the problem? If let's say this is the edge, this is the ledge, so we have this, right, Adam, we have this Pi Tikra, the edge of the ledge, we should say it goes down, and it forms a wall right over here, right next to the schach. And since the Mishnah says we don't say that, it's clear that we don't say Pi Tikra Yored V'Sotem. We don't say that the edge of the roof goes down to form a wall for something outside of what that ledge was there to support, to cover, to protect. V'amai, the Gemara says, Nema Pi Tikra Yored V'Sotem. Why don't we say that the edge of the roof goes down and covers and seals it? So the Gemara says, so Rava says, according to Abaye, because the case of the Mishnah is when you went ahead and you placed the schach in such a fashion that they're exactly flush with each other. That let's say here is the edge the ledge that's coming out. I got my wall over here, and I got my ledge. So now, if I would go ahead and put the schach above, let's say I put the schach on top of the ledge. So here is the ledge, here is the wall. Now we say the wall, like we said, Jaime, before, the wall won't work because it's too much, it's too wide. This ledge is too wide. So I have this porch that's extending from the wall won't be able, the wall is no good, too far from the schach. The schach is over here. But the question is, morning, doctor, the question is, can we say that this edge of the ledge of the porch that's extending, could we view this as if this goes down? So the Gemara will tell you that in general you would, but the case where it says it's not is, let's say you place the schach. So if the schach is directly against the edge, when you're inside the sukkah, you don't see it. This edge has become filled with, so therefore there's nothing here in order at the edge of a roof, as if it goes down, if you see the edge, you see like a form. See this because this has been cut. Form something that it looks at the wall. When you see the picture they gave in the art scroll, look at the picture of 19A1 on the picture. We'll read note number 7. Instead of leaning the schach on, because if you left the schach on top of the porch, then there would be you would see an edge coming down. The suspended at the same height. Therefore, you will not be able to prevent the rain from inside the sukkah. That's from inside the sukkah. So therefore, the rule of P Tikra Yuri picture. Sometimes certain pictures are clearer than others. And I think this picture here on Yutet Amar Aleph, if you see this picture, I don't know if you could see it on the computer, you see how the schach is directly against the edge. So when you're inside this sukkah, right, this is the case. The walls are over here. The ledge is over here that's extending from this, but the ledge is too far out. So you want the edge of the ledge to form a wall to go down. But that edge, but when you're downstairs here inside the sukkah, if you place the schach flush with that edge, you don't see something coming, you don't see an edge. You don't see something coming down. You don't see, if I go ahead, if I see this, I'm inside the sukkah and I see already something coming down, but here I don't see this because this is covered. This was covered with the schach. That's why Abaye would hold it's not, he will agree in such a case that we don't say that we look at the edge as if the edge goes down. If you look at back to 18b in the art scroll, 18b, picture number 1, you see picture number 1 where you see those dotted lines coming down because they're coming down from that edge. You see that edge. You see there's a certain thickness of a wall above that you see. But if make-believe, you wouldn't see that. If make-believe right next to, adjacent to that edge, there would be schach, so you don't see that. You won't, it's not called you see it, and therefore it wouldn't come down. That's what the Gemara says. Okay. B'Surya masni lo hashmaita shmaita b'hai lishna. In Syria, there's famous places in Israel, in Bavel,
Syria.
Babylon. One
Syria,
place
Rabbi.
was right, Surah. And now the Gemara, that's how they learned it in Surah. And now the Gemara says that in Pumbedisa, which is another great Jewish city in Babylon, they had a different way. They had a different tradition in the machloket, in the dispute of Abaye and Rava. They had the following: if you went ahead and you place your schach on top of this ledge that's coming out from the house, and if you don't have any pillars underneath, everybody agrees. Good morning, Ezra. Everybody agrees that it'll be pasul. Everybody agrees we do not say that the edge of the ledge goes down and will close that area. And therefore, you don't have a proper sukkah. Again, the house walls can't serve as a wall because this ledge that's coming out is too wide. And therefore, if the ledge is too wide, if you're stuck. That everybody agreed in such a case. So where is the machloket? The machloket is yesh l'pasimim. It has underneath this ledge. I have the wall of the house. I have this ledge, and I have underneath this ledge, I have sticks. I have little poles. They're like pillars with spaces in between the pillars. But the spaces in between the pillars are less than 3 tvachim, are less than 9 to 12 inches. So I have now, the question is, do we say lavud? Do we say the rule, we've had a rule until now that if you have space less than 3 tvachim, we consider it as if it's closed. So Abaye Yama, so yesh l'psimim, it has these pillars underneath the ledge. Abaye Yama kishira. Abaye says that these pillars form, we look at the spaces in between as if they're closed, and they form a wall. And Rava Amapsula, Rava says, no, we don't apply that rule over here. And the question is going to be, why not? So Rashi says that remember, these pillars, why did you place these pillars underneath the ledge, right? Because the pillars are holding up this ledge. I have this porch. I have my house over here. I have my porch sticking out like this, and I put these poles underneath. So these poles are coming to serve this space. So therefore, it only could serve the space that's contained inside. It could form a wall for here. It could form a wall for this ledge, but it can't form a wall for something outside this. You want to create this for a wall for a sukkah, which means you want to say that we're going to apply the rule of lavud, that we're going to apply the rule that we're going to consider all these poles, even though they have spaces in between, we're going to look at it as like a wall, and you want it to serve as a wall outside this area. You want it to serve a wall for the schach that you're going to be putting in between, right next to it. So to say that it's going to serve as a wall in such a case for something outside of what it was intended to mate for, that he says we won't apply the rule. Rava Mabsula, Abaye says we say the ruling of Ravut. We will not apply the principle to give this halachic leniency that will consider spaces in between poles as if they're connected when it wasn't intended, and to serve as connected and serve as a wall outside of what it was intended to make, we won't say that. And the Gemara concludes the Hilchata Kelishna Kama. The law follows the first text that we had, not the second text, the text that we had in Surah, not in Pumbedita. And meaning to say we would apply the rule of lavud, even for something outside of it. These poles, even though they were made to hold up this ledge, we would say the poles, the spaces in between, if they're less than 3 tvachim, they will form a wall. And so we would agree with that. But Rashi says, but we will not say that it could form a pitikra, that it could form a wall that goes down for something outside of what it was made for. So in conclusion, the Gemara says, if you have poles less than 3 tvachim from each other, they can form a wall, and that wall could be used anywhere. Could be a wall for inside it or outside. But when it comes to pitikre yori v'sotem, to say that an edge of something, this edge goes down, will only work if it's made to contain, if it's going to use as a wall for what it was intended to enclose, but not to create for a wall outside of it. And therefore, if the edge is too far from the wall of the house, it cannot be used to create a wall going down for something outside of it for a sukkah. I want to wish everyone a great day. My daughter had a baby boy.
Mazal tov.
And the Brit is Monday, so it's in Staten Island. If I could be in both places, I will be in both places. If I can't, I'm going to, Bez Hashem, find somebody to cover the class. The Torah must go on, Bez Hashem. So I just want to
enjoy the baby b'simcha.
Yeah, amen. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great day.
Shabbat shalom, Mazel Tov, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Mazel Tov.
And welcome back 2 days in a row. That's great. You're on a roll.
Thank you, Rabbi.
And Friday is even more rewards because it's a harder day to be on.
Baruch Hashem, we're here.
Yes.
Thank you, Rabbi. We're heading to shul.
Thank you. You got it. Bye-bye.